Howdy doody Rudy Tooty, Mayor Giuliani. Thank you very much for today. I'm exhausted. Last night I didn't post video number 2. I'm still recording, trying to do the everyday thing with everything, but it turns out you can't do all things every day. It's like how much wood would a woodchuck chuck kind of thing. As much as a woodchuck would chuck if it could chuck wood. I didn't post the video last night because I just got a little sick of myself, overexposure to myself. But I told myself that we're looking at the tree, we're not looking at the forest, and got to look towards the bigger picture. This is just a slice of time in the loaf that is life, life loaf coming out soon. Vitamin Waters bread, go 50 Cent, man, he killing everything coming out with bread now too. Making a bread to make the bread, breadception. So I just got a little sick of myself because I don't have my team yet, but I know I'm gonna have it. Let me know down in the comments down below if you my team. I need about 30 densely knowledgeable, highly impassioned, trustworthy, spirited individuals, professionals and masters, each in their own particular field, willing to make some dreams come true. Because as the one man crew be doing, he be watching himself a little bit too much, and it's like, damn, that's a lot of me. And I thought to myself, this is very self-indulgent, like I was saying, as vlogs or podcasts or talk shows or just, entertainment can be, being an entertainer. But really, it's actually one of the most selfless things you can do because you're giving yourself away to other people. Some part of yourself. Really selfish, really self-indulgent stuff is the short-circuited activity that has no long-term goal. It has the goal of immediate gratification, instantaneous pleasure. Uh, it's pretty deeply rooted in most of us by now that we can just click a button and feel happy. There was a psychological experiment where somehow, and you can let me know down in the comments below if you got the uh, if you got the circuitry blueprint in your back pocket somewhere, got a link to it. They hardwired this woman. They hardwired her brain to a button, and the button, when pressed, gave her an orgasm. And this woman happened to be a sex addict. These cruel scientists chose an individual for a particular agenda, I would imagine. But anyway, they gave her this button to pleasure herself, and she literally did nothing but just press the button over and over again all day long until it broke her ability to, you know, have it or feel it. And I think even at some point, a chimpanzee, given that button, would stop. That's kind of the difference between human beings. We don't really know when to stop sometimes. We don't know where to start. We don't know when to stop. A lot of prepositions and suppositions in the way of what we really should be doing. So I know, in other words, people out there watching TV or playing video games or touching on themselves to a picture of No Nip Nathan, trying to manifest through sexual transmutation, Rifey. But So instead of just thinking my thoughts to myself, I'm sharing my thoughts. Feels it's a consolation I need to agree with within myself to continue offering myself. So I got past the being sick of myself thing, but I was still super exhausted because this has added like an extra 4 hours to my daily routine every day. So some things have gotten switched to the side, like sleeping and eating and going to the bathroom and stuff, all taking a back seat to just getting everything done on a daily basis. As soon as a couple things get streamlined and a couple things get out there in the world, I'll feel a lot better and I won't feel so pressured to complete so many things at once a few more things are complete. But I'm still extremely tired, so this is going to be a short video, and I'm sure some of you will be happy to hear that. Those of you who are giving me the pity views because you love me, you care about me, and you hope I do well in something. And I hope I do well in something too. Concert piano coming soon. But not just exhausted and sick of myself, but also occasionally overwhelmed being me. It's kind of like the Michael Cera meme where he's sprinting away from absolutely nothing. And the meme text says, I can't run away from myself. And Jim Carrey says, we all really want a vacation from ourselves. You can go to any geographical location in the world, no matter how serene, pristine, and beautiful of a vista it may offer, you are still yourself. So there is no magic pill as far as a vacation is concerned, unless it results in internal revelations. And as much as we can change ourselves to be a different version of ourselves, we still ourselves, you know. So even if we really like what we got going on, we could get sick of it. And that's what friendship is for, and family, and romance is to take your mind off of yourself and think about other people. Sometimes the best solution to thinking negative thoughts about yourself in any form is to think about other people. And it doesn't have to be in the form of somebody who deeply inspires or empowers you. Just be somebody that you care about. And you can start thinking about what's going on in their life. Hopefully, you don't get too worried about it and you just start thinking about some good things and put your mind in a different trajectory. So, if you're ever really down in the dumps, thinking, oh, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? What am I doing? What am I supposed to do? What am I meant to do? All that. You could just think yourself, what could I do for somebody else? What could I say to somebody else? How could I lift somebody else up? It's one thing my dad told me back in the day. He dropped a couple of gems here and there. He ain't no Johnny Dang down in Texas or Jacob and Co. in New York. Get there with the platinum grill someday, sooner or later. You'll be dropping the gems in the fish tank like that Ice Cube movie. In the cups. And he said, if you can't make yourself happy, the next best thing to do is make everyone around you happy or make people around you happy. And he told me that in first grade, a little depressed first grader I was, my existential quandary already for 3 years, having my midlife crisis. It's good to get it out of the way young, like chicken pox, so it don't kill you later. You have your midlife crisis when you're 50, that could be game over. But so, if you can't make yourself happy, focus on making other people happy. And in this weird subconscious way, it will make you happy. Just alone giving you the confidence to know that you can make other people happy is a sense of purpose and something to make you excited to wake up in the morning and have something to look forward to in itself. And in a weird funhouse mirror image, kind of like the saying, "I'm rubber, you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off me and sticks to you." And it kind of does. So when you think about that, if you're constantly around a bunch of unhappy people, that's going to make you unhappy at the end of the day. And of course, it's not your responsibility to go around making all your coworkers and all your family and all your friends and every single person you see walking down the street happy. That ain't your job, but you can make a couple select few that you really enjoy the company of happy, or at least, joyful for a moment. This is the thing we forget: emotions are all temporary. There is no emotion in the world, not even a mindset in the world, that is permanent. All of these things are constantly fluctuating. I don't want to make this a super long video, but Adam knows I got the cloud theory on lockdown, and I'm adding it into the flame theory and the water theory and blending all the elements together to make a theory of everything. R.I.P. Stephen, not Hawkins, just a guy named Stephen. So it may seem like I'm, doing a lot of things and everything's going well and everything, and for the most part, it is. I ain't gonna knock it, but I do still get overwhelmed to be me sometimes, and I don't think there's anybody else in the world that I would rather be overwhelmed to be. And I know this feeling overwhelmed, this feeling exhausted is just a temporary sensation. All of these things. When I was younger, I used to want to be all different people, all different people. I was like, man, why can't I be Trace McGrady? That mofo 6'8", doing the reverse under the leg 360. Uh, I didn't. I had no concept of all the things that I had to offer, and I was looking towards all of the wrong things to offer. Physical talent, physical skill. In today's world, what does that really serve beyond laborious applications? Sports has become so enormous just because of gambling, really. Not many other reasons. It's grown so much in the recent years. Oh, that takes me to multiple different tangents. Oh no. I just think it's really, really crazy, even though I'm not the biggest fan of watching sports anymore because it's a major distraction and doesn't really serve anyone any great purpose other than that value of entertainment and distraction and something to look forward to on the weekends or whatever. But as big of a empire as sports has become, it still only offers a small handful of varieties to watch. We got like 5 to maybe 10 different major sports, and really only five, and then the other five hop around. And right now it's pickleball and cornhole and some other stupid stuff that's not even sports. It's the It's the yes, you can be 800 pounds and drinking a beer and eating a hot dog and still playing this sport. Sports, America. And yet we got like thousands of different kinds of weapons. So few ways have we invented to legitimately cooperate with each other and have fun with each other. Yet every day another weapon's coming out. It's like they want everything in the world to be a weapon. Every single thing. So I thought I wanted to be T Mac. And turns out I used to collect basketball cards and the cards and stuff like that. And I got a Tracy McGrady card that said on the back it had like, likes, dislikes, and hobbies. And most other NBA players had an abundance of hobbies. They're like, oh yeah, hunting, fishing, four wheeling, uh, you know, making music, all sorts of different things. Tracy McGrady had one hobby. It was taking naps. I was like, this is the most boring mofo on the face of the planet. I'm glad I'm not Tracy McGrady. Height has nothing to do with who you are. It just only has to do with how you are perceived and how high items you can reach in grocery stores and things. And to a certain point, it's a hindrance. You got to duck under things and get specially made clothing and beds like Shaquille. So, and I actually did eventually dunk. I'm not gonna lie. It says 5'10" on my license, according to my girlfriend, ex-girlfriend. Dang, bro, live in the present. According to one of my exes, I'm 5'7". I'm like 6'3" in my mind, and I know shorter people have dunked. So I did. I really focused on the leg strength and the spring step, and I did dunk. I dunked a couple times on a legitimate 10-foot rim. I got a couple of friends who don't believe that this happened. I'm gonna have to get in shape again and show them it's a real story. So anyway, I'd rather be me and Duncan than anybody else. And Duncan, even Tim Duncan, even though he's a gentleman and a scholar. Nope, no thanks. He don't have my thoughts. He don't got my McSwagger. I got me, and that's all you really need. You got you, and ain't nobody like you in the world. You a cool mofo. So just be you. Keep being you, and that's a win. That's a win-win. I had alternatively last evening a Kevin Hart moment, I guess you could call it, where see, I think a lot of people have grand misconceptions of the idea of an overnight success. Sometimes I'm sure there's industry plants or record executive's child is just given the keys to the dough. But you can usually tell when it's a hollow product and there's nothing deeply ingrained in the individual of substance or talent. We'll get to talent in a second. But so Kevin Hart had to grind for a long time before he was a household name. And most people don't take that into account when seeing his face on every single television channel selling everything from dish soap to the dishwasher. He had many, many nights, many more than I've had so far. So I feel like I have no reason to get down on myself yet because I have not had nearly as many of those nights yet. where I've done all I can. I've poured my heart and soul out, either to a distracted or an unresponsive audience, or to very few views, very small audience, and come home and think to myself, I've just done the same thing that I've done 100 times, and I'm still in the same position, maybe even worse than before. I've done everything that I can on my end to give my gift to the world, and yet still no one has received it in a way that has gotten me farther. So you feel stuck sometimes, even juggling so many things, making small bits of progress here and there. There's that big step, there's that leap that we're all looking for, one way or another. Like I said, ain't nobody got a crystal ball, not one that works well anyway, perfectly accurately. And you have no idea what tomorrow will bring. Not a clue. It's really important that you keep doing your best every day. Whatever it is that you're doing, whatever it is you're building towards, you got to put your all into it if you want all out of it. So, input output kind of thing. And that's where we come to the talent part. A lot of people in this world today don't have a lot of skills. I feel like 200 years ago, we were just naturally demanded, naturally required to have a great wealth of abilities in our tool belt of life tools. And now there's a lot of people that are really good at playing video games, really good at finding the content that they like on Instagram or YouTube or Twitter or Reddit or Discord or Facebook, all that crap. A lot of people who are really good at designing the perfect television schedule for themselves in the evening. A lot of really people who are really good at binging series and movies and all sorts of things. A lot of people who are really good at eating. In other words, a lot of people who are really good at consuming things. Not a lot of people who are really good at making those things to consume. That's the other side to it. So we come back to the what is it that you consume, or what is it that you have consumed that has brought you to life most colorfully. Do that for others, and that will fulfill you more than anything else. So, on these notes of skills, nobody is born good at anything, but that is not to say that they are not given gifts that are meant to be built. Everyone sucks at everything the first time that they do it. Nobody just picks up something and throws a bullseye, and if they do, it's blind luck, sheerly coincidence. Anyone in the world can build a skill to the point that they are talented at that skill. Anyone, in almost anything. However, I do argue, Rifey, that Gilbert Gottfried could not build the talent of singing that would be recognized in the majority of people's ears. This is where gifts come into play. Certain individuals are, I believe, born to do certain things. I can't say Tracy McGrady was born to be a basketball player. Who knows? He might have had far more impactful destiny out there somewhere because what's T Mac doing now? You know, NBA career is a short lived thing. And even then, he was overshadowed by a number of other athletes. You know, Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson, Shaquille O'Neal, many others. Even his cousin Vince. But and it's very difficult to say, that you've found the thing that you are truly meant for. It's still it may be the thing where you're following your bliss, you're following your passion, you found the thing that makes you most happy because it makes others most happy, or some other self-serving thing that I can't fully wrap my head around, honestly. But I do partially understand. So you can build a skill into a talent, but you can only build a skill into a great gift to offer others if it is something that is within you to do already. You can never attain anything that is not within you to do, you know, even though Nate Robinson was like 5'4" and he was still slam dunking. That was just him fighting against the universe. He's like, you gonna make me small? I'm gonna show you how tall I am. But actually, one of my exes, my ex door neighbor, said one of the coolest answers to a very common question that I've heard many times. A lot of people ask, well, I guess not too many anymore because as we age into adulthood, we lose a lot of curiosities about things because we cement our certitudes in certain regards to these unanswerable questions just to stop thinking about them and spend mental energy elsewhere. But I think it's important to not stop questioning and always continue refining your knowledge and outlook on things, expanding while refining, never getting too broad nor too myopic. My ex door neighbor, she used to ask me a lot of questions that she already had her answer for. So she was just like, why don't you have your answer immediately already? Well, I wasn't thinking about this beforehand. You know, she'd, she'd be like, what's your favorite kind of cheese? And I'd think for like 15 seconds and she'd be like, what? You don't just know your favorite kind of cheese? No, never really thought about my favorite kind of cheese. I'm not a mouse human like you. But, of course she had her favorite cheese in top three and her top five and her top 10 and all these things. But she said, if you could ask, you know, God, the universe, whatever representation of all knowing is for you, if you could ask this deity one question, what would it be? Her answer was, how can I best serve the world? What am I meant to do? What is the most important thing that I can offer the world? I think that's the perfect answer. I do not think that there's a better answer. To the answer of what is your favorite cheese, who cares? Not important. That was a good question. That was a good answer. So maybe you should ask yourself that. How can you best serve the world? What is it that you have that is most important to offer the world? I know deep down. You already know deep down. You've been thinking about it for years. And whether or not it's something you're actively doing, something that you used to do and you've you stopped doing for a little while because you was beating yourself up about it or doubting yourself about it or it just wasn't working out. You got to think like Kevin Hart. You have no idea if you spent just one more day doing that thing where you'd be now. Be on the cover of a TMZ magazine, the grocery aisle, because everyone's speculating what you're doing. And not everyone wants that. I completely and totally understand. It's not about the fame and notoriety. That's not what I'm saying. I just mean that you get to the level of greatness of what you're doing that you become a spectacle. And there's a lot of spectacles in this world that nobody knows a dang thing about. So you can maintain your anonymity if you so choose. But I still think it is vital for the betterment of the world, especially in the state that it is in, that we do not second guess ourselves and we begin pursuing our greatest gifts to offer the world. And it's it's impossible for me to say just because I haven't had enough feedback yet, whether piano, rapping, writing books, uh, cooking, this vlog thing, being, physical fitness. Uh, I'm too tired to think right now. Taking care of animals, so many things. I used to think that I should have been an architect. I really wanted to be some sort of building engineer. Very fascinated by that. I think if anyone out there that's watching is considering being an architect, I highly suggest you check out Norman Foster. If you can find the documentary, How Much Does Your Building Weigh? That's an extraordinary thing. Literally anything that you do can make the world a better place. It doesn't have to be something that most people know about. Most people, I'm sure 99% of the people that watch this video haven't heard of Norman Foster, but he has made the world a better place using predominantly recycled materials to build massive constructions that would otherwise demand far more of this earth than it has to offer anymore. And you got to continue asking these questions, these unconventional questions. How much does your building weigh? When you walk by a building, have you ever once thought that in your life? How much does this building weigh? There's a massive weight of crap being moved around every day. We need people with brilliant minds and brilliant hearts at every level of the world. I've my whole life additionally felt there's way more than enough people just blabbering their mouth like this, talking about a bunch of crap. Tony Robbins has spent 30 years speaking to some of the world's most influential and, you know, potentially impactful individuals in high positions of the upper echelons of society. There's so many things that shape our world, but each small action does usher quite the ripple effect. Every tiny little thing, every joyful wave from a kid on a scooter to a man bumping them tunes riding by on the street. Every little thing. Just focus on the good moments and use any bit of negativity that you have and understand that it is merely energy And even if it is negative energy, you have to put that negative energy into something positive. So if even if that little trick of thinking about other people isn't working for you and you're still huffing and puffing about something, just do some push-ups. Literally. Not everyone in the world has to be on that journey to peak physical fitness, but maintaining your health is very important. There is not a person who has made it to considerable age in life who wouldn't tell you that health is wealth. And that becomes unmistakably clear the older you get or the unhealthier that you get. Just as much as the world is informing us and we're informing the world, we're informing our body and our body is informing us. So you're feeling down, lots of different ways to pick yourself up. And also, last but not least, I just want to say this. When I was selling things and doing things on a more regular basis, my phone was off the hook every single day. More calls than I could return. It was flattering. It was enjoyable for me because it made me feel like people were thinking about me or needed me for something. Unfortunately, it was mostly a superficial transactional thing. But when you're down and you're overthinking about yourself and you start thinking about other people that's still not working and you do some push-ups and now you just got the blood flowing, you got even more energy, but you're still feeling negative, give one of your friends a call. Call them. Don't just text them. Screw texting. You don't hear the emotion in their voice. There's no inflection, no variation in tone. Just call them. That's one of the best piece of advice I've gotten recently when I was just spiraling about a month ago. Somebody told me just call an old friend that you haven't talked to in a long time. I ended up calling a friend and I talked to just like last week because well that part don't matter, but it was a great talk. In fact, it was such a great talk that it led to this series of vlogs. I wouldn't have been doing these vlogs. I wouldn't have put out my first one if I didn't make that call. I turned a bad day into a good day. I wasn't afraid to say that I wasn't having a good day. Somebody said, "Hey, pal, this is how you turn it around." And it worked. Don't be afraid to reach out when you don't have all the answers yourself. And don't think you're going to find all the answers in one day either. Just take those little steps. Might feel like you're stuck. Might feel like you can't make any progress doing what you're doing, but you have no idea how much better off you are trying to make progress than trying to stay stagnant or not trying at all. Trying to exhaustion, I don't recommend for everyone. It is really only if you want to get to the pinnacle of success in whatever you do. The Floyd Mayweather, training 12 hours a day, Kobe Bryant working out 4 times a day, waking up at 4:30 in the morning to do his 5 o'clock in the morning workout. But it just goes to show what you put in is what you get out. And I'm sure most people watching here, your lack of success is not for a lack of effort. You have tried. You've tried a lot, but you didn't keep trying in the same thing long enough to make it a real gift. Otherwise, people would be knocking at your door. Get some more bars. Thank you very much for today. Thank you very much for today. More gesticulations. I won't just be leaning in here. I'm in here for the light and stuff. It's the angle and whatnot. And more more comedy in the future. Bring back some of them Instagram characters I was talking about because that's unfortunately as much as I really love the rap and so many other things that I've been doing. When I don't post a piano video for 4 months, nobody says, "Hey, where's the next piano video?" When I don't post a rap video on Instagram, nobody says, for 4 months, nobody says, "Hey, where's the next rap video?" But it's been years, like closing in on half a decade, maybe even more now, since I've done any of those Instagram comedy characters. And I still occasionally get some people saying, like, "Hey, you gonna bring Strawberry Tickle Toes back? Where's Strawberry at?" He's right here. Shut up, Bob! I don't remember who he was yelling at. Was it Barbara? We'll do some research on ourselves. Thank you very much for today. Hmm. Strawberry tickle toes on the way. Thank you for listening. I love you very much. I hope you love you, because I love you. So if you don't love you and I love you, that make me a damn fool. So you better start loving yourself, because I know I ain't no damn fool. Not all the time. Sometimes though. Bye.